Is White Dwarf 103 the best ever issue of White Dwarf magazine? So apparently if you went down to your local Virgin megastore back in the day, you would be able to pick up a copy of White Dwarf 103, and I know this because it still has the label on it here. This one was released in the summer of 1988, July no less, one of the best months of the year, because that's when my birthday is. Now, interestingly, this piece of art here, I think, has been reused from a much earlier game known as Battle Cars, released by Steve Jackson and his mate, the other one. Is it Ian Livingston? I can't remember. Anyway, I'm pretty sure this piece of art was the cover of Battle Cars. It was also one of those choose-your-own-adventure type novel books. I can't even remember what they're called either. Anyway, I've definitely seen that art before. Well, there's someone knocking on my door. This issue of White Dwarf allegedly features the Rhino, Blood Bowl, and the Realms of Chaos. So that's enough waffle, let's jump in and have a look. Okay, so here we have Games Workshop's monthly games magazine, White Dwarf, issue 103, and this one would cost you £1.50. However, the shop this came from, Virgin Megastores maybe, remember those, it would also cost you £1.50, so they thought they'd put another sticker on there just in case to waste their own money. Anyway, on the front here, I believe this is a Dark Future art piece, and I think this might have even been used on the Battle Cars books or novels. I may be wrong. I'm sure someone will tell us all if I'm wrong. They love to tell me. Anyway, as we can see, this issue, Sean Connery here, this issue, oh my word. Shall we start that again? This issue was released in July 1988, and we have a nice Blood Bowl advert in the front cover here. We have an advert for some Rhino Marines, and these were the original Rhino crew boys, and as you can see, these are pretty damn good. Hailing from the Blood Drinkers chapter, a chapter which doesn't get enough love anymore. Culture Shock, I think this is just talking about a day in the life of Games Workshop, sort of a news column. The Vermilion Pawn, a complete encounter for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, as opposed to an incomplete encounter. Some nice artwork of some dwarves poring over some books. They look like they might even be writing their own books. Mel Gibson at the door here, and a cat standing on someone's head. We also have some Iron Claw goblins, designed by Bob Ollie. It seems that Iron Claw and Bob Ollie appear to be... Do apologise for that, I just moved my light. Appear to be in collaboration a lot of the time. And I've just noticed this lovely marble effect on the border here. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Very interesting. Mel Gibson again, fighting with a beast. Someone falling down a hole, I think. And a group of orcs. This looks like a scene from Helm's Deep, perhaps. Some Chaos Dwarf war machines. We have our Space Marine Whirlwind. Obviously it isn't. It's a Chaos Dwarf Whirlwind there. Looks to be pushed by a centaur of sorts. And I do like this big green face. The Tenderizer also has a big face on there. This appears to be a whacking and stomping one, and the Whirlwind is more of a spinning machine. Some Orc crossbowmen, and some Blood Bowl beasts, an ogre, and a troll. A map, marvellous. Critical Mass, a book review column that we always ignore. Over here is Thrud the Barbarian down there. What's this sort of brainy beast here? Very interesting. Some pirates you can't see because of this glare. Let's sort that out. That's better. Some pirates for Warhammer 40,000. This one looks like he's dressed as a Sister of Battle. Do like this one. He appears to have a rocket launcher attached to his wrist. Chapter approved vehicles column.
teaching us all about how to turn your Rhino, because we always want 2 pages of rules how to turn a vehicle. Glad we've moved away from those days. Some Eldar artillery here for Warhammer 40,000, featuring what looks like a plasma gun, a las cannon, and an assault cannon. I believe now known as a lance and a scatter laser maybe. I'm sure an Eldar expert will pop up and appear in the comments below. Some squat bikes down here. I do like the old long sunglasses, which has like a slit instead of a round opening. A land speeder here, blowing the shit out of the ground. A guy on a bike. Not sure on this chapter logo. It looks like a dead pigeon. If anyone can let me know what the dead pigeon chapter is, please let us all know. Lots of vehicle damage charts here. Far too many for my liking. And what I think is a couple of orcs here. This one looks like Bebop or Rocksteady from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. An old Games Workshop store here. Check out the racks of blister packs. And up there on the shelf appear to be some sort of Space Marine chapter things. They look like vinyl covers, but as you can see, there's a Rainbow Warriors one. So where is this Games Workshop store, and what are these chapter things up here? Grombindabartini, the dwarf, answers your letters over here. Here we have, what's his name? John Fashanu? No, John Freeman? John Cusack. Someone Cusack. Is it John Cusack? Someone Cusack. I can't remember his name. Anyway, that looks like him. An advert for Dark Future and Freeway Warrior over there, starring Mr. Cusack. We'll just call him Mr. Cusack. The long and the short of it. Jervis Johnson tells us everything we could possibly want to know about dwarf and elf teams, and interestingly, it's only 2 pages, so apparently we don't want to know much. Here's some dwarf and elves teams for you. A nice yellowy gold team for the dwarves, and a pink and green, very garish team for the elves. Marvellous. Someone's leg sticking up there. Wonder if that's intentional. And there he is, the Lord Humongous. On the boil, not sure what that's talking about, or they're talking about something in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. It's too highbrow for me, too clever.
So interestingly, on the back of this magazine is an advert for the Rhino, but in the bottom corner you can see the Citadel Miniatures logo. But if you zoom into this, I might have to give you another camera angle to see that. It says, if you're enjoying this video, then please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. That means you, Terry. If you are enjoying the content here on the channel, then please consider joining the Patreon, the link to which is in the description below or up here somewhere.
Slaves to Darkness, Chaos Weapons. Lots of weapons in here. We can see a chainsaw of sorts, an axe, a sword, which looks a bit melted. Another very stabby sword. Shord. It's Sean Connery again. A poking stick of sorts. Not sure what that is. A rod of office, perhaps. A very strange looking sword with a fish or bird on the end there. Got to be Zinch, hasn't it? Fishy birds. A dirty looking sword again. Probably a Nurgle weapon. Another sword here. Another sword here. Another sword here. This one looks like it would do some serious damage, causing a wound. Another sword here. We can sort of see a theme pairing with these weapons. Very nice piece of chaos artwork here by Gary Harrod. There's lots of contrast. I like that a lot. There they are, TM games. Of course, they have to be in every White Dwarf imaginable. I wonder when their advert stops appearing. We'll keep an eye out for that and be sure to forget it when we notice. Warhammer armies here. Crush, Crumble and Chop. Here we have a... What on earth is this giant head on a wall? What is that? Very strange. And there's your Whirlwind and tenderizer machines for the Chaos Dwarves, masters of exciting machinery. There's that tenderizing fist machine. Wouldn't want to be underneath that. Mail order, obviously. And a range of rhinos. Marvellous. We can see some of the early ones. This here is a prototype. It's not an actual kit. Some of these are the kit. That's the prototype. We also have glare. The glare isn't part of the prototype, but I do apologise for the glare. Lots of different rhinos painted by different people. I believe Tony Cottrell, Darren Matthews, that's it, yes. Marvellous schemes. Wonder what happened to these rhinos. Are they still in these people's collections? Some rhino conversions down here. This being the prototype for the original Predator. Hello. We've moved straight into Dark Future, and it appears that someone has cut my page 59 and 60 out. So unfortunately, I can't show you what would have been on those pages. It could have been porn, it could have been freebies, who knows, but it's not there anymore. Shame. Probably the start of this Dark Future book, I would imagine. More Dark Future cartoons here. Quite like the art style of these. It's very nice. And there's a Chaos Star on a Dark Future Interceptor there. So, very interesting. More Rhino rules up here. Obviously, it came out after the original Rogue Trader was out. Lots of glare again. I do need to sort this glare out. Oh, it's not even that light producing the glare, so I do apologise, but lots of different schemes here. Here's the best one, the Blood Drinkers. Very nice, I think, all these. Although I do like these Crimson Fists right now. I think they're fantastic. 88 Golden Demon Awards going on. And here's the Orc's Nest again, still in the magazine, still going to this day, allegedly. I say allegedly as it's a rumour I've heard, someone told me. Lots more adverts here. And over here, Daniels of Windsor. Very expensive sounding shop. Perhaps this is where the royal family purchase their Warhammer from. If they even play. Maybe the Queen is very much into her Slaanesh armies. Warhammer armies over here, orcs and goblins. Have they just turned up on the scene? Surely not. This is very late in the day. An advert for Fist here. Fist Adventure 2 being planned for release in July, where you can ring up and spend hundreds of pounds in half an hour and have the biggest telephone bill known to mortal men. Some people are known to still be in debt from the 1980s of ringing up those phone line games. Terrible idea they were. They would cost you hundreds of pounds. I played one once and spent a lot of money, got in a bit of trouble. Anyway, let's move on. Orcs and goblins still. Lots of nice artwork. More orcs and goblins. Lots of it. I do like these guys swinging their balls around. I can't remember what they're called. Fanatics, yes, it's written above it. Always helps to read the title of the piece. Snotling Pump Wagon, always good fun. There's that throwing machine we were talking about before. I thought this came out in the early 90s, but there's a picture of it there. The lobbing thing. Interesting. Your Dune Cometh Man thing. I do like this banner. Looks like a Eldar banner from one of the early Eldar Dreadnoughts, released in Warhammer 40,000. An advert here for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, which no one's ever played that I know. Probably a good game, we'll never know. And on the back, we have an advert for the Rhino Armoured Assault Vehicle, the shape of war to come. Well, it was definitely the shape of the Warhammer 40,000 APC, as it's still the shape to this day. Now getting a re-release in plastic for the Horus Heresy, which is very interesting. Probably well out by the time you see this video. This is being recorded in, when is it now? It's May. It's May of 2022. Who knows when this is coming out? Anyway, let's move on.
So that was my little look-through review of White Dwarf issue 103. What did you think? of this one. I really enjoy it. I really do like the old White Dwarf magazines. I think it makes me relive my younger days. I was going to say older days, but I was younger, and that is wrong. Hold on. Oh, we filmed all that with the wrong background on the screen. We're going to have to leave it. I wonder if anyone noticed. Did you own issue 103 of White Dwarf, or do you still own it today? Luckily, a friend of mine gave me this one along with a bunch of other White Dwarf magazines. He didn't want them anymore, and I was quite happy to snap them up. What do you think was the best article in issue 103 of White Dwarf magazine? I myself think it's the old Rhino articles. I might even go so far as to say is it's the actual adverts for the Rhino itself. They're so Oldhammer, and I love them. Do you like Oldhammer White Dwarf magazines? As I said before, I really enjoy them, and I do have a soft spot for the Oldhammer and nostalgia style miniatures magazines and all accompanying paraphernalia and accoutrements. If you want to see some more Oldhammer White Dwarf magazines, and I know you do, then check out the playlist up here somewhere. As always, thank you very much for watching, and always remember to drill your barrels.